lap out. It did. I didn't expect to be here, to be honest. I knew the boys at the front had set a good pace, and I knew it'd be 34s. You know, if I wanted to be on the front row, I didn't think. Well, I knew I didn't have it in me. I still don't think I did one. I think it might have been a 35 flat, but I didn't think we even had that in us. You know, I thought mid 35 at a push might get us 9th, which was 3rd row, and I'd have been really happy with that. So now I think I've caused myself a few problems because now I'm sat on the front row of the grid, and I wasn't expecting that. You know, I was just expecting to come in and try and score a few points. So race is on. I mean, it's a long race. The wrist is still really, really hurting. That lap took everything out of me then. So I don't know what it's going to be like for another 18, 20 laps. So we'll just see. We'll do our best and see if we can put a show on for everyone.
Go out. The start will be so important for Brooks and for Byrne. Byrne pulls the absolutely perfect one, and look at Ellison. Yeah. He leaps across and just makes sure Bridewell's got no route through the first turn without riding through him. Shaky leads the way then. Ellison in 2nd place, Bridewell in 3rd, and Bridewell looking very determined. Oh, he explodes through into 2nd place. Someone's gone and someone else is down. Is that Westmoreland?
Westmoreland. Yeah,
I think James Westmoreland's down. Yeah. Oh, Westmoreland, who cheered himself up with a rostrum.
And Howie Main when he smarts there.
Good Lord, what's going on, fellas?
There's a problem for Tommy Bridewell.
Oh, Bridewell is in trouble.
That's terminal, it's whatever it is.
Wow. Bridewell, who was having a terrific ride, really pushing race leader and pre-race favourite Shaky Byrne, is pulling off on the Tyco BMW. That's a bad result. This is, and the other Jameses, it's an impressive ride, this, coming back from what he's been, the hyperbaric chamber and various things to try and get the bone to knit in his left wrist. The reigning British Superbike champion does it again here at Oulton Park. He first won here in 2003, did the double. He's done the single here on day one. James Ellison, an amazing 2nd. 3rd is Buchan. 4th is Josh Brooks. 5th, vitally, for number 4, Dan Linford, ahead of Luke Mossey. Lee Jackson, I think, might have lost out. He did to Richard Cooper on the rush into the line, but still gets Shaky Byrne, then steps onto the top deck of the rostrum. James Ellison still a little bit amazed and slightly bewildered, I think, at finding himself there at all.
Well, qualifying, it was quite hard for him at first, and Chris and Andrea worked really hard to do what they needed to do and get him a good setup. And he said he was feeling fine, but from where he came from through having the accident, so basically it's come from A&E to podium. To do what he's done, it's just fantastic. He's had a lot of backing, he's been in the hyperbaric chamber, he's seen physios, he's put 100% effort into it. Wherever he needed to be, he's been, and then he ended up on the podium. So perfect place, I can't believe it.
Honestly, quite difficult qualifying. We only qualified 15th, but we made some big improvements. We know what our problems are, and yeah, honestly, yesterday was a wasted day. You know, we lost a lot of vital track time yesterday, and then this morning was wet. So we've really been on the back foot. But today I've done my fastest ever lap at Oulton, you know, so there is plenty of positives from the weekend so far. So we've made some changes before race 1 and hope we can improve a little bit and have a good result today to set us up for tomorrow.
Yeah, it was. To be honest, it was really tough in qualifying because we've still got the injury. It's going to be 5 weeks tomorrow from the break. And it was a big break, you know, it was right across the full part of the radius, so it was a long recovery, but I've done everything I can. I've had a lot of help, a lot of support, especially from the team, and yeah, I just did everything I could to get back, and to be honest, I didn't really know what was going to happen until I rode yesterday. And I was in a bit of pain, but still able to get the bike around the track, so we've just been chipping away every day and just trying to keep on top of the pain medication and the strapping up with the mobile clinic, the physios here, and it seems to be working so far. We've put ourselves on the front row of the grid. Now we've got 18 laps to try and hang on to the thing. We'll see how it goes.
Go out and they'll have the full-on 18 laps ahead of them. And he's suffering. He says the hand is more uncomfortable today than it was yesterday, James. The ligament damage is the biggest problem in the left arm and hand.
And that's probably the reason for the bad start, actually, because obviously your left hand works the clutch, and if you've not just got so much feel with it, especially with bikes revving around you and you're not being able to really hear what your engine's doing as well.
I was going to say, James Ellison, what he desperately wants is podium points, and of course right now he's on the back of this train. He can see that possibility of a third place. So these guys are lining third, fourth, fifth and sixth. Behind them we've got Jackson, Cooper, Laverty and Christian Idden rounding out the top 10 ahead of Peter Hickman and James Westmoreland. They're launching over the top of the hill at the moment. Look at this lot. So it sounds like it's James Westmoreland, his teammate at JG Speedfit Kawasaki, who's gone straight on then at the chicane. Westy not having the best of weekends after that podium finish at Cadwell, James. Shaky Burns pulled over,
And that's a big blow up, and the reason I know that is because he pulled straight off, so he thinks oil's leaking out. See him looking down.
and the Australian has done it again. Josh Brooks wheelies across the line on the Milwaukee Yamaha to take a splendid race win. Second place will go to Danny Buchan. Buchan gets second place, his best result in British Superbikes. Another rostrum much needed for Danny Buchan. Fourth Mossy, fifth Ellison, sixth place does get gripped by Peter Hickman ahead of Michael Laverty. Richard Cooper eighth.
Two top tens for the JG Speedfit Kawasaki boys. Some big concerns for us. It's plain to see that James Ellison was suffering probably more this morning in warm-up than he was yesterday for qualifying and the races, and we had some big doubts about whether he would finish this race and what sort of condition he'd be in during it. But I have to say another top six with fifth, I think, in the end that's a great result, and perhaps points the way to him being competitive later on in the last race of the day. Westy suffered from being run on at Hizzies. I think Hopper took him out in the middle of the race. Fortunately, that was just a run through off the track and through the chicane there, so that certainly affected his finishing position, but just on the edge of the top 10, so two top 10s and a good place probably to start race 2, or race 3 I should say, later on.
When the lights go out, the race is on. 18 laps of Oulton Park, 2.7 miles here of Cheshire's beautiful countryside. James Ellison also breathing down his neck, and then that big black and yellow figure of Danny Buchan. And the man with the dazzling green and yellow helmet has James Ellison trying to put, as Mark Smith-Halverson was pointing out, James, with that, particularly with the ligament damage to his hand, just struggles to make a move on the brakes to get past people once he's caught them. Behind Laverty in 10th, it's Kianari, Jessup, Lee Jackson, Howie Mainwaring Smart. 15th is James Westmoreland there, then Chris Walker, number 9, just outside the points. There are the podium credits right now. 55 Brooks, 47 Byrne, 22 Ellison, 12 Easton, 9 Bridewell, 7 Linford.
Ellison already in the showdown. Obviously, there's only one place up for grabs, really. That's Easton's place, and it is number 4, Dan Linfoot, is the man who's just about to nick it.
Here's Ellison, though, having a look at Island Bend.
Oh, difficult place to pass that. Well, it's difficult to make it stick and be firm with it. You go over a crest, the whole bike wants to take off. These guys are going so quick on the big bike.
Dan in Linfoot still just calmly fending off James Ellison. Ellison, of course, not able to. It's not really going to make a great deal of odds what happens with James here. He can't get himself any podium points unless something drastic happens ahead. He's got 5 riders ahead of him. James Ellison looks underneath. Linfoot has to let him through as they go into Old Hall Corner on the final lap. Dan Linfoot sheds a place then and drops to 6th place. It's Shaky Byrne who does the double for PBM Kawasaki. 2nd place for number 25, Josh Brooks. 2 points will separate them as they go into the showdown, and Dan Linfoot will join them for Honda. Bike number 4 does it.
It's a really positive result for both sides of the garage in a lot of ways. We were disappointed with not to have more performance from Westy at Cadwell, and we spoke about that both at the meeting and during the week, and we've definitely seen him come back to some sort of form this weekend. His lap times and his race time without the pace car in race 3 is much better from him. But overall, our focus was James Ellison and the Showdown.
I believe we can do it. You know, we've come through this season with 2 broken ribs at the start of it and a broken wrist, and we're still sat third in the championship. So, you know, what we can do when we're fully fit, we should be able to get back to where we were at the start of the season and winning races. So, I've certainly missed it. The bike is well capable of winning every weekend. So, and I think it'd be good for the fans as well. You've got 2 Kawasaki's, 2 BMWs, Honda, Yamaha. Going into the Showdown, it's going to be epic. So, looking forward to it.